I'm officially not a fan of cold and snowy one Titan. How many of you folks are dealing with snowy, inclement weather? Of course, now we got a massive warm air up there in the Pacific Northwest, a little further up. Anyways, you got a polar vortex forming again. Not that everybody in the lower 48 wants cold weather, but Mother Nature. And I don't think that one's a HARP one. I know, crazy thing. I do think plenty can be blamed on that. But don't forget, weather systems and cycles have been happening throughout human history. Silverback down, XRP way down, market down, job reports, good or bad signs. It's the market desperately trying to find some real value in a fiat world. Yeah, when I see all those, it is a normal response. It is the market trying to figure it out. It'll figure it out. Always does. Just may take it a while. They might get it wrong once or twice on the way. And usually those that get it wrong lose big time. Wait, MarkZ Deep doing the birthday. Let's start that list. And you know how much I like when the Marks have birthdays, because then I get to go, it's we're the Marky Marks, y'all are the Funky Bunch. Buddy of mine, Michael Duncan, happy birthday today. He's not even on here. He's got no idea I said it. Mechanic, buddy. Hello, John from Texas. Haven't seen Elodie in here. Where you hiding? Hello, Mr. Mokel. Whoa, Texas Rose doing a birthday? I see Jason and Trish celebrating 22 years together. 33 days till Christmas. I wonder if we can get this done before. I think there's a better than excellent chance. I don't know the timing, but I think there's a good chance. White Wolf checking in on us. We have snow on the hills here. Lots of rain, positioning for snow on the lower elevations. Jason, going to be 55. 55 was more fun. Like when the national speed limit was 55 and you had the whole like Sammy Hagar thing. I can't drive 55. Now anybody that's not a Gen X looks at you like, what? When you say it. Gypsy Baron, today's my dad's 90th birthday, second in heaven. Happy heavenlieth. IS Iraq, yeah. Rick, we shared an article. Anybody remember when I want to say it was Saturday, we shared an article on them being compliant and ready. And a lot of people get confused when we talk about the ISO and the, what is it, 90022 or 202, whatever it is. And they're like, yeah, we're going to that. We're leaving the Swift. It is called the Swift MX20 whatever. So a lot of people out there fighting over what we call things again. Instead of just accepting, we all call things, or people, human, mankind, call things by different names in different areas. See, Nader has a video out. I just saw it. He said the CBI of Iraq is making an announcement today or tomorrow that the exchange rate's been lowered. Steven, I know there's a lot of anticipation. I was told the announcement is going to be on the mechanism to start moving that direction. I haven't been told that they're going to announce a new value. I am beyond hopeful that they will. I just want to keep folks grounded on that front. Hello, Jay and Amy. Cross-border payments really sped up. I mean, really sped up. Cross-border payments that went from sometimes, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to seconds. Texas. My cousin's name Michael Duncan. Wonder the same person. I doubt it. Not unless he's a mechanic all over northern North Carolina and southern Virginia, depending on where he wants to live at the time. And a heck of a mechanic. And a phenomenal, phenomenal bass guitar player, too. I mean, that dude has got way too much talent. I mean, he's too talented at turning wrenches and too talented at playing bass to be anything short of spectacularly wealthy with his talents, but doesn't seem to be too worried about money. Militia Man had a short one yesterday. 17 minutes long. There's so much good information out there. We just got to dive into it. And Golden at 64, life is more fabulous. I would like to say I am so grateful for what life has given me. I know it's thrown me a lot of curves. I've learned from them. I've grown from them. And strangely enough, I thank the world for my curves. Or thank God for my curves that have been thrown, because it has made me who I am and taught me to be thankful for what I have and who I have around me in life. Billy, I hear that the RV is going to happen soon, but I heard that nobody knows. Nobody knows the exact timing. Lydia, it is a golden morning. David, we'll get into all the news. I don't want to have to repeat it over and over, so we'll hold out. Holly Salino has a video. I haven't talked to Holly in more than a minute. Has a video out today on ISO 20022. Oh, it is. Whip, you're right. It is a bit of a long one, and thank you for the reminder. If you're like me and you're getting to that age where your body just feels sluggish and off all the time, then listen up. Because recently I wasn't feeling great and decided to call my friend Dr. Josh for some help. I told him what was going on. His response kind of shocked me. He said I was showing all the telltale signs of a clogged liver. You probably already heard about how important your liver is for detoxification, digestion, energy levels. Here's the thing. Most people have no idea how clogged and overburdened their liver actually is. Eating processed food, drink, even stress, these things can all take a toll, leaving your liver clogged. And important not to let this go unchecked, because your liver is the most important organ in your body, being responsible for the proper function of nearly every system in your body, from digestion and metabolism to detoxification. Essentially, a healthy liver equals a healthy you. That's why Dr. Josh, practicing doctor with over 25 years of medical expertise, formulated a special liver supplement called Ultra Liver that acts like a deep cleanse for your entire body. He told me that Ultra Liver has crossed over 500,000 bottles sold, receiving thousands of 5-star reviews and happy customers and patients. That's when I'd heard enough. Got me some. And we're going to share that website, guys. I'm happy to report being able to say goodbye to a lot of like chronic fatigue, bloating, skin issues, things like that. Really does help. Say hello to renewed energy, clear thinking, a body that's operating at 100% again. Powerful stuff. Amazing how much better I felt in such a short period of time. But again, you're not going to get results like this from just any random liver supplement. Probably not much on Amazon. Who knows? Make certain you're sourcing your vitamins from good places. Not saying you can't find good vitamins on online locations like that. You can. You just need to find out what the source is, make certain it's legitimate, because in that online world, there are so many imitations or counterfeits out there. So if you are ready to unclog your liver, flush dangerous toxins that are sapping your energy and preventing you from losing weight, just go to tryultraliver.com/MarkZ to get your hands on Ultra Liver today. Extra bonus, they still have, Dr. Josh has his 50% off sale going for limited time still. And you can find that at tryultraliver.com/MarkZ, or look for the link. Give it a shot. If you've got liver issues, many folks in here have sounded off on what it's done for them way before I ever advertised for them. Dagoo, good to see you. Pammy K. Trump meeting with Mamdani from India today. Whoa, Prime Minister Shia El-Sudani on Tuesday, a new mechanism concerning foreign currency was announced that will be implemented on December 1st. Yeah, we're expecting some kind of solid announcement. I'm just trying to keep people grounded on that one, because that could simply be the adoption and them coming out and announcing that, because now that they have gone to the new the ISO, the new messaging standards, they should be able to completely uncork their compliant banks for international and moving money, which should be just huge for Iraqi businesses and should definitely help support a more valuable dinar or currency. Son Ryan's 39th. I know we need to get to, it is that time. Let's get to it. Pitter patter. Yes, Grant, they almost always announce after. Let's see, always don't neglect your heart either. My neighbor came to my door Tuesday and he was having a heart attack. We got to the hospital just in time. Always right. Wow. Think about the difference you made on that one. The other Jack, Biozox. Make certain you use your discount. Jack, keep an eye out. One of the mods will drop that link or I'll drop it in a few minutes. Hands down, my favorite location for them. Because I know all the sources are like, pharmaceutical labs, all human grade, all US. That's it. Pitter patter. Time to get at her. Let's go to Iraq first. Okay, where do I want to start on this one? On the bond side, guys, still very quiet for me since yesterday. We gave a little bit of an update yesterday. I got nothing fresh for you today. I am going to try to get through the news pretty quickly because it is Codeman Friday. So buckle up. The positive is whatever we missed, you guys can ask questions. And between Mr. C and I, hopefully we can answer that to your satisfaction. Let's get here. We're going to start with an article talking about or the Debbie Downer, the negative. Some would call it a troll article, etc. We get these every now and again, and some people wig out. Most people don't, but some people do. But I do think it's important to talk about these so that we don't have people unnecessarily jumping off a bridge. Not that you should ever jump off a bridge unless it's for fun and you're on a bungee cord or some really cool water. This one, I didn't even know it had been out for a few days now, actually a week. Dinar RV, what does Soudani's victory mean for speculators? This is the guest blogger. We never really find out who this person is. At least I haven't been able to figure that out. Must be kind of nice to be able to put out information anonymously because you can put out whatever you want. I can really affect what people think by doing that. I could just anonymously throw it all out there without a single source, which happens a lot. But let's get to it. Following Tuesday's parliamentary election, Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani's Reconstruction Development Coalition emerged as the largest bloc in the new assembly. Predictably, dinar speculation communities are buzzing with excitement, convinced this political development will bring them closer to the mythical revaluation RV that will make them wealthy overnight. I still get a kick out of that. Do any of you guys look at this as a get rich quick? I know I don't. I mean, think about what had to happen after the war-torn country. They had to rebuild. They had to get stability. They had to update their banking system. They had to update their electrical grid. They had to start producing manufacturing domestically. They had to get through all of the sanctions that occurred because of the invasion into Kuwait and the Gulf War. When I see people ridiculing the community for only thinking get rich quick, I lose all respect for them because nothing about this has been get rich quick. Zero, zilch, nothing. It has been a long-term investment, just like Warren Buffett said when he bought a bunch of Iraqi dinar. It is a long-term investment that I think is going to be very profitable. He has great faith in the country. Donald Trump, same thing. United States Treasury holding it because of the long-term potential. EU's currency holding it because of its long-term potential. Vietnam's treasury holding it because of its long-term potential. And they've been holding it for a long time, right? Waiting for it to mature. So when I hear people coming in and saying, you guys are idiots, I just laugh because none of this is get rich quick overnight. Never has been. We don't think of it that way, but they try to ridicule us by saying we do. And that is just total and absolutely BS and weak sauce. All right. Now let's get into a little more of this one. I'm not beating on the person. The person makes a couple of good points and a couple of really shitty points. So we might as well talk about them. The latest chapter in the familiar story, they keep talking about how you got all these great gurus, hidden meetings, and all this kind of stuff with stuff about to happen and pumping whatever, not giving any sources. That's why we share probably half a dozen to 3 dozen articles a day, so you guys can dive in, including publications from IMF, World Bank, banks, you name it. That's why we talk about them. So I just want to be upfront on that one. Now, do some or many of the podcasters, gurus, whatever you out there, just kind of feely whatever with no substance? Yes, I'll agree on that one. Absolutely. And I'll agree that even I have gotten overly zealous over a drop piece of information, and then I have to go back and take a look at it and think about it and figure out where I was right and where I was wrong. They get to Soudani. They're just saying, hey, the promise machine's spinning up. Now that he's president, everything's going to be magical. And I don't look at it that way at all. The CBI is in control of that rate change. Even Soudani told us that. Even the World Bank's told us that. So that's who's going to make the decision with the blessings of the international banking system. Now, and they talk about the pattern never changes. I really don't think they actually pay attention short of reading the boards, because if I read the boards every day, I'd be absolutely clueless on what was really happening. It would all feel really good. Yeah, Rick Buck, anybody who says it's a get rich scam hasn't talked to Mr. C. But let's get into what they consider the fundamentals. What this really means for dinar holders. No, that one's not it. Moving beyond fantasy. Where's this one I want to put? There was where is it at? There it is. The economic reality check. Now let's, this one I got a real hootenanny out of. Consider such a revaluation would actually do to Iraq. This is the person showing what they consider as reasons why it won't happen. Exports would collapse if you suddenly raise the value. Iraq's oil is priced in dollars in global markets. If Iraq artificially inflated dinars values, it would receive fewer dinars for each barrel sold, which because we live in the U.S. petrodollar world is, I mean, that first statement is obliterated and out of the water because they get paid in U.S. dollars. Now, hopefully some of their local trading partners would trade in currencies that are going to be in the same basket with their currency, like maybe Jordan or Turkey or Saudi Arabia. So the first statement, absolute bunk. The next one, imports would flood the market. Foreign goods would become artificially cheap, destroying domestic industries and employment while draining foreign currency reserves. That's almost a good point. Now, what happened when they devalued the Iraqi dinar? Because of war. This is a pretty common thing that happens. When war is officially declared on the world platform, you can go to the banks, etc., and they devalue a currency. We've not been able to do this one in the Russia-Ukraine conflict because, well, the world refuses to declare war on Russia, so they can't devalue their currency externally. So they got no point. This one, it was a world coalition, so they devalued the currency, right? So they devalued it artificially, making it impossible for them to buy goods from outside. So it has been artificially suppressed, doing the opposite of this. So revaluing it to a more reasonable value, because it's been artificially devalued, would restore the balance in them being able to buy foreign goods and sell local goods. So the second statement, right out the door for anybody that thinks. Not saying the person wasn't thinking. I just think they need to back up, look at it, and think a little harder. The economic chaos would ensue. The sudden shift would obliterate business planning, investment, and trade relations. How? Would it throw a little bit of curve, speed bump in some of those? Would it also streamline and improve some of those? Sure. This isn't Keynesian economics. The world economy is dynamic, not static. The overwhelming proof for that is thousands of years in the making. The sudden shift would create more businesses than it would obliterate. it would put a hurting on some of the money lenders and some of the smugglers. And I think we could live without them. I really do. Think we'd be okay. Think we'd be just fine. So when I read this one and I go through it, this person is obviously not a long-term investor that has thought through this or paid attention to the documentation, in my opinion. And they could be somebody that's just trying to protect who they think of as friends. But I've never understood why trolls continue to put it in when they think it's BS and never going to happen. Wouldn't it make more sense for them just to get on with their life? All right, I wanted to cover that one before I had more people worried. Now let's get into a little more. Meet the secret operations room that monitors the pulse of the Iraqi economy and protects the dinar from fluctuations. As a domestic debate over the exchange rate in the future, the dinar continues. The Central Bank of Iraq's recent statement on the tasks of the Department of Remote Investment has revealed another deeper and less visible but highly impactful aspect of monetary landscape. Circle, which manages foreign reserves, balances global market risk, now described by economists as the silent backbone of the Iraqi economy, along with oil, the pillar behind which the country's most important financial transformation is taking place. Again, this has not been get rich quick overnight. Just read the information coming out of the country. Read what comes out of the CBI. We have them talking about how they work on those mechanisms. They're not suddenly unleashing anything. It has been building. They have been methodically doing the steps to increase value and stabilize their currency. They've been working on it for 2 decades. Not get rich quick overnight. Real meetings, real government, real banks, real fundamentals. Now, here's one I got a kick out of. Qalabaf, Israel cannot confront Iran directly and will not hold out for more than a week. Speaker of the Islamic Consultative Assembly in Iran, Mohammed Bakir Qalabaf, boy, I probably butchered that one, stressed on Friday, November 21st, that the enemy, I guess the enemy is Israel here, has not stopped its war against Iran, but has changed its method, pointing out that Israel is too weak to confront Iran directly and will not survive less than a week if it enters a war without the support of its allies. The enemy today is relying on new pressures, such as an economic, political, and cultural war to undermine the will of the Iranian people. They just want you to know in Iran that they think they would kick the butt. I mean, all evidence has shown absolutely opposite of that Iran is very much a paper tiger, except on the terrorist front. That they exceed in. That is not something to be proud of. But when I'm reading this, I read this political posturing. That political posturing is as weak as me, like getting in the face, legitimately getting in the face like I don't like a Mike Tyson and tell him how bad I'm going to kick his butt. I mean, just, I'm going to roll right up in my wheelchair. I'm going to get somebody to lift me on the ring, and I'm going to get in there, and I'm just going to slap him around a couple times, spit on him, tell how much I'm going to kick his ass. That's weak sauce. That's like a Napoleon complex coming out of Iran right now. And I'm not supporting it. I'm kind of worried about Israel right now and their leadership. Love the country. Very much worried about their leadership. We're going to talk about that in a minute, too. When I watch these, I just want to remind people that all of this is political posturing. Don't let it shake you. Confirming what Baghdad Al-Yawm published, MarkZ denies ending his mission in Iraq. I'd shared some stories. Perhaps you have read some with the Maliki crew inside. Doing a bit of a victory dance, thinking that U.S. wouldn't be there. We still want to be interested, and all these things would change, and none of it has been accurate. None of it has been true. Still there, still working on the behest of Trump and the administration. Let's go here and get rid of that banner. Do I even have that, Israel? Okay. Hopefully I've got it in there. Just ignore me for a minute, guys. U.S. economy created 119,000 new jobs in September, topping market estimates by nearly 60,000, about 59,000 higher than expected. Very positive. I was worried that the jobs print was going to come out much uglier. We've looked at unemployment. Unemployment has ticked up to about 4.4, I think is what they are claiming. Now, when they say that, folks, remember, we have changed the definition. By a classic definition, it would probably be more like 9-10%. Not as bad as the 2030, some of the crazy numbers we saw under the Biden administration, but still not where we want it. But definitely more robust as manufacturing cranks back up inside the United States, which is great. This is important. When you see these, this is important. We look at all the job cuts that are coming from, let's say, white collar workers, middle management, and especially in the U.S. government, federal government, as they have been preening people out. No, preening is not the word, but pruning people out. U.S. trade deficit drops 24% in August as Trump tariffs reduces imports. We have stopped bringing in as many imports because we are manufacturing domestically. Now, a small portion of that, maybe 4 or 5% of it, from the numbers I've been reading, are reduced consumer demand. So that is a small part of it. But most of it is because we are making it here. We are buying it from American factories, from American workers. That is the goal. That is the fundamental strengthening of the economy, not artificially. That is the fundamental building it from the ground up. Mike Huckabee held a meeting with Jonathan Pollard, who spied on the U.S. for Israel. I can't blame him really for doing it. I think perhaps a little bad taste, but sometimes you've got to talk to people to find out what's going on. And in that conversation, I get a little scared. Give me a minute to find this piece of it. Pollard, for those that don't remember, he was a U.S. ambassador. Wait a minute, back up. Former American intelligence analyst who was convicted of spying on the U.S. on the behalf of Israel. So he was like a double agent for Israel, but an employee of the U.S. intelligence. Meanwhile, he was sharing anything and everything and digging for Israel as it was spying on the U.S. That's one of the things that bothers me. And they have a long history of that. We won't even get into the USS Liberty. I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this discussion today, folks. I got to find this piece about nuclear weapons, guys. Just give me a moment. Here it is. Pollard recently announced he planned on running for the Israeli Knesset, suggested in an interview that Israel should threaten to use nuclear weapons as a way to continue receiving unconditional military aid from the U.S. They think we're bluffing. I think we should go forward with it. Does that not shake? That shook me up. When I read that one, that made me want to walk away from any relation with the Israeli government. And that's what I'm saying. I just offended a lot of people. But when I read that one, I know we're supposed to support the nation. I know we are as Christians, but that doesn't mean a blank check on insanity. CDC says vaccines may cause autism. Wait, what? The claim vaccines do not cause autism is not evidence-based, the Public Health Agency said on November 19th. Now, this is an agency that Trump has not had much luck in reforming. It is still overwhelmingly the same old guard that shoved the COVID-19 ones down our throat. So studies supporting a link have been ignored by health authorities. They're getting into it. And if you'll notice the pivot on this one, let's go back to COVID. And the claims by Fauci, Biden, many others. I mean, we could put together a collage of comments from politicians and scientists about how you're safe. You take that shot. You're not going to get it. You don't have to worry about it. You're never going to get it. You're saving the world. And then it went to, well, you might under certain circumstances to, well, we never said you wouldn't get it, but it's going to help protect you from severe illness. And it just kept changing. And now they're like, yeah, you shouldn't have taken it. Or many doctors are that way. Many scientists and politicians. Yeah, we never should have done that. Do you not feel like this is the same thing? So now they're saying, well, we don't know if it does or doesn't, but we shouldn't ignore that it might. Wait another year, the CDC's most likely, in my opinion, going to be saying, hey, guys, look, you need to not take these. They can call. We've been telling you the whole time, which is BS. Same thing they pulled after the COVID one. We told you the whole time. We never said it would do that. Going 100% back on their claims. We're watching the same thing right now as the Tylenol one, as they ridiculed Trump, et cetera. And Tylenol comes out and said, well, yeah, it could. Well, here's this study. Now the CDC, companies like, organizations like, yeah, why? Why'd y'all ever take that? We told you. They're doing it again. They're doing it again. Trust the science. I just wish we would pay attention to the science. The good news is, as they become more and more honest, as it is forced on them by independent journalists, thinking people, science, perhaps it'll protect the next generation. Yes, I'm with you. Just when I read these, we need a little more common sense in the world. It would go a long way to help. All right, I've covered what I wanted to cover before Mr. C, so I need to get prepared for that one. There I went, trying to go early and missed it by a minute. Yeah, hoops. I've noticed that whenever they said May, that's usually them admitting it. That's one I can't even say out loud. To say that one out loud, and I would be gone. That is still something you cannot discuss. And make the arm work so I'm ready for Mr. C. Yeah, Mr. Artist, I read a lot of good stuff. Yeah, the 4 years where we lost common sense. People out there screaming about inflation. Inflation is running at what? About 10 times. Less than a quarter of what it was running during Biden, but they're still screaming at Trump. Hello, Mr. C.
Good morning, Mark. How are you today?
I am good. How about yourself?
We still have a sunny and it's still chilly up here, so we're doing okay.
Yeah, how chilly? We were just asking, have you seen snow yet?
We had a little bit of snow here earlier, let's say late last week, and it's in the low 30s, like 31, 32. So it's chilly.
Yeah, it's did I mention it's like 82 today here, Mr. C?
Thanks.
Anytime I'm here for you, sun's out. No, I'm just kidding. I still do miss sometimes the mountains, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, the leaves, etc. But I can visit them and then come back to the warm.
That's nice.
Right?
Right.
What do we want to talk? What do you want to talk about today, Mr. C?
Oh, the world is so full of subject areas, it's unreal. First off, I want to thank Lyman. I appreciate your comments. It's been a tough week to stay sane as far as I'm concerned. What's happening in the bond field with people supposedly getting set up to get paid, and at the same time we have the wackos in DC ready to melt us down to civil war. It's just unreal.
Yeah, I mean, they're pushing. That's their goal. That's their way of trying to avoid responsibility. Well, we were going to fix it, but there was a civil war. Well, the Civil War bankrupted us. Meanwhile, we were already bankrupt.
That was the plan in the beginning when we started this whole mess back in the early 90s, is that Bush Sr. had a plan, and that he would get his money, he would stuff it away in a safe location with gold that he stole from everywhere, including in Fort Knox, and then he would cause a nuclear war. And then he would come out of the Trump tunnels and take over as the dictator of the world. That was his plan.
Wait a minute. Can't we be the dictators? Because we would at least do good things for the world.
Well, that's not how we looked at it. And it's funny to me as I'm going through writing this book, and by the way, I appreciate your concern and help or advice. But the unfortunate thing is, the way I'm writing this book, and the only way I figured out how to do it, is that I'm taking my monthly notes, my notebooks. I'm going through every page, every conversation to see if it's relevant, and then analyzing it to whether it stays with the storyline that I'm trying to convey, and then put it into writing. Well, I'm only at March of 2009. I've got to go to 2019. So I'm a way to go.
Yeah, you got 10 more years to go.
Really. And it is, to some degree, it's depressing because I see the fight that we had. And it was amazing to me after they tried to nail me with the TriStar event in 1995, 1998, and put me on the same docket with King Fahd for basically fraud, and I beat them with 600 pages of documents, and they had 20. They made the decision that I was a very scary person and something to be afraid of. And so all the time that that Senior was in office, as well as W and Obama, they were scared crazy of me that I might destroy their administration. And I see that the rat Cheney has died, which is unfortunate. There are times I feel like my life, let's dig him up and hang him again. But that's just the way it is. So what I'm getting at is that the book is bringing out a lot of antipathy that I had that I tried to forget, and it's very difficult to write. But I'm getting there.
I just saw one from TP. I did too for that first booster. Did them. All right. Dovey with a question. If you're ready, are you ready for questions?
Go ahead.
Would you mind explaining why Interpol is involved in the RV and what role they play going forward after the RV? I had a lot of people like, how do they get their funding? Who are they, etc.
Well, Interpol is the result of the UN in 1943, advocated by FDR. It's an international court system to some degree because they coordinate with The Hague. They are it's like the Department of Justice for the executive branch of the United States, which is how they get involved after World War II, and in fact in 1949 when Mao chased Chiang Kai-shek off the mainland, they went to Chiang Kai-shek and his group went to the World Court to find a way to spend money which was supposedly for China. Mao said it's theirs, and Chiang Kai-shek said it's theirs, and the Hague came up with a ruling in that they were allowed to hypothecate or place monies as long as the world G7 got a piece of it. And I got involved in this operation in 1995 because at that time Bush Sr. was trying to horn in and take over control because he had control of the militaries more or less around the world with the Rothschild. And so basically, I was presented as a third party to be the beard, quote unquote, of this operation. I was the second one after World War II to be named and given approval by the World Court to be involved and in charge, take the lead for that process of taking the gold and precious metals and the 1931-33 certificates and put them to use for around the world and allow the Chinese to participate. Okay, so that happened. And at that point, there was a major case in front of the World Court that should they actually be allowed to do this? And in 1995, 96, they said, yes, they should. Yes, they can. And therefore, Interpol became involved in the overseeing of this process. Now, when Nixon went over to China and met with Zhou Enlai and Mao, and they had an agreement, a written agreement, by the way, that part of this money would be funneled through the Secundu Trust, under the direction of Nixon and NL, said that way. And then Nixon agreed to pay them back the money. Well, he never paid. They said, wait a minute, that's fraud. And Nixon said, tough, what are you going to do about it? So they went to The Hague again and said, look, we want our fair share, which is what you guys agreed to. So Interpol got involved directly. It is interesting. Part of the Interpol's operation under their criminal aspect is that you can, if you are large enough or a country, you can go to the Interpol and ask them to take the lead in adjudication and rectification for wrongs, financial wrongs around the world. And they will track the money and they will repay the money. And that's what happened. By 1996, 98, and then further on, going towards the Golden Treaty of 2013, Interpol was very much involved in the recovery of assets for the Chiang Kai-shek group and to pay them. And we found that the main obstacle was Senior, W, Jimmy, and all to the clowns. And so they got actively involved. Now, how did they get involved at this point? After the Monaco Agreement, which, if you recall, and go back into your if you do a tracking on it and on the internet, you'll find that there was an actual offshore meeting on private yachts amongst the major leaders of the Middle East, China, and some people representing Russia to come up with a way to force the United States to release the monies. And I know from firsthand that they did everything possible under the sun to say, no, get screwed, go away, you can't touch me, don't bother us again. And this went through W, Cheney, Obama. I mean, goodness gracious, it's amazing to me. The Hague had many times arrested Cheney and put out warrants for the arrest of W and actually detained Senior, Greenspan, Snow, the whole list. It's unreal. And this is what I go through on a day-by-day basis with my book. Finally, what happened was the Golden Dragon said, enough of this garbage. We're playing whack-a-mole. So what we're going to do is we're going to form a treaty amongst all the affected nations, which involved, by the way, the petrodollars, because we were screwing the Middle East big time after 1953, the Brits and us. So Interpol became the absolute contracted enforcement arm of the Gold Treaty. And that's where we are today. That's how they got involved.
I think they needed that long history. Hopefully they'll go back and read it, those that have questions. Some of these aren't going to be for you. Some of these questions will. Lise, do you think the Trump's MAGA offer, made this comment, do you think that Trump's MAGA offers for Bitcoin, gold bars, get rich, all this, 99.999% of all those have absolutely nothing to do with Trump or MAGA other than they're trying to take advantage of Trump's name to get people and sucker them in to all kinds of shady crap. It is just like me, Mr. C. There's all kinds of fakes Mr. C's out there giving advice in Telegram. Mr. C, I don't think's ever been in Telegram, maybe, but he's not in there giving you advice on cryptos and gold bars and all that good stuff. Trump's name has to be the most abused name in marketing in the history of the world. Well, I don't know, maybe Jesus Christ and God himself might be more taken advantage of and manipulated to get people to part with their dollars, but only because they've been around since the beginning of mankind, pretty much.
I quite agree.
Fred with one. Mr. C, did you notice that when they showed the Cheney funeral, guys, that is simply autocorrect screwing with Fred. I imagine you saw the wrinkled flag and how the American flag was taken off the coffin when they went into the church. Do you have any thoughts? Did you watch? I did not watch any of it. Wasn't going to watch it. Didn't need to watch it. I still thought whenever somebody passes, I hope and pray that they went to heaven, because that will mean they found the error of their ways. They found Christ. They asked for forgiveness and they realized what was going on in their world and their lives. I hope Cheney's in heaven. I hope for his mourning family that he's in heaven. Do I think he's there? No. But I hope he is, truly. And I mean that genuinely.
I
Mean
hope
that
they're
one.
frying his butt forever.
That's
By the way, he was not a favorite of the Chinese. The Chinese tried to kill him several times, by the way. Literally
I'm still
tried to shoot his butt.
I'm still mad at Cheney and Rumsfeld and the whole group because I mean they did. I mean I was as manipulated as anybody in that time period. Go America! Let's go blow up some camels and stuff in the Middle East for people that had absolutely nothing to do with protecting those bankers.
Right. There's a question here, Rich Ann 22, regarding Lyman. Lyman is an attorney out of Boise, Idaho, who is very much involved with Latin America and also in the Congo. His humanitarian efforts are just unbelievable. And I've never really had talked to him yet. Unfortunately, it's my fault, not anybody else's. But he's very much involved in the farming operation that we're contemplating. We actually want to fund because his family owns a small farm in Boise, outside of Boise, and he grew up on a farm like I did. So there's a kindred spirit there, and I enjoy when I got my paralegal, and I was also marketing, actually the East Coast for a market timing operation. I got to know a lot of attorneys, and I actually started teaching attorneys securities regs because they did not know. They're not taught securities regs per se in law school. That's just a adjudication process. But the regs themselves, if you look at the regs, they're over 4 or 5 inches thick. And when you go through and take the Series 7 or Series 24 or 27 exams, you learn them. I'll tell you that. So it's very interesting. But he's a great guy, and I do appreciate his comments extremely much. And he's going to be of a great help when we go into the operation after the RV. I'm sorry.
There's a lot of people. There's some people like, why do you listen to this person? Why do you listen to that? Because I get information out of it. They make me think. Even if I disagree with them, I'm still willing to listen to others because it helps me think and question my thoughts so that I go back through them, say, am I crazy? Am I nuts? Does this make sense? Anon wants your thoughts on the whole ISO 20022, the new, messaging money transfer system, whatever you want to call it.
Quite frankly, I don't know that much about it because I think it's just a facade to obfuscate the fact that SWIFT is illegal to a large degree. It is unethical to a great degree, and it should be done away with. But it is a system that has been used by the banks and by the corruption of various countries to steal money. But with regard to all that, I don't really know.
SS GNAC, Mr. C, any thoughts on the silly 6 Dems that called the military to disobey Trump?
I'll tell you what, this is one that pisses me off so much as a vet that I see blue, red, and I want to scream and yell. Just out of curiosity, I did a little bit of research this morning. Under 10 U.S. Code 802, Article 2, persons subject to the UCMJ and the Sedition Act. And those, by the way, I am quite sure involve those people sitting in Congress. Just because you're in Congress doesn't mean you're exempt from Article 94, mutiny or sedition, which is, by the way, 1, with intent to usurp or override lawful military authority, refuses in concert with any other person to obey orders or otherwise do his duty, or creates any violence or disturbance, is guilty of mutiny. With 2, with intent to cause the overthrow or destruction of lawful civil authority, creates in concert with any other person revolt, violence, or disturbance against that authority, is guilty of sedition. One must understand that sedition is real. If you talk against the government or against the military in particular, to have the military act in a certain way that is contrary to the Constitution of the United States, your butt can be hauled up on the scaffold and hung. That is the law. That is not somebody's thought. That is legislation, the law. Now, why are they doing this? Because they are chicken ass idiots. And I can't believe that any part of them was a part of the military intelligence group, because it's drummed into those of us in the intelligence operations that you do not do this.
And then you saw the intelligence officers over the laptop stuff. I mean, clearly our intelligence agencies are extremely compromised.
Well, they are, and that goes to Brennan and the lackeys that were actually educated and put in place by Bush Sr. Again, his goal was to destroy the United States of America by any means necessary. When you take the oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that's who we're referring to. He is a treasonous rat that should be dealt with just like any other rat that's been dead. Bring him up and put him on trial again and hang his butt.
Cap,
tell you,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
On April 20th, this is what I believe is what they're scared of. On April 20th, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth and Secretary of Homeland Security Christina Holm were expected to make recommendations to President Trump about invoking the Insurrection Act of 1807 at the border, southern border problem. And they are scared that they would come under that. And they would, by the way. One must only go back in history and look at what Lincoln did during the Civil War. He arrested members of Congress, literally put them in jail, literally shut them up. And the president has the authority to do the same today.
Cap, voila, or Viola. Mr. C, will there be an official announcement when we're back to common law?
Yeah, it's going to be part of the Sarah operation. The Sarah.
Your next question here from Jason: will the rats ever be gone, Mr. C? I know I've got strong opinions on that one, but your thoughts?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Will the rats ever be gone?
Well, the rats are a state of mind. What we're talking about are people who actually committed treason and corruption in office. Will they be gone? This group of them, yes, they will. Every rat in particular, since 2013, actually before 2013, has had a shadow following them and watching what they're doing. In the 1980s, the Attorney General Janet Reno had well over 4,000 warrants for crimes against humanity on her desk that she would not execute. Officiated under the rule of court and Interpol. So yeah, they'll be gone.
Yeah, for me though, even if we round up all the rats in the world right now, everybody gets held accountable, etc., for every wrong. It's human nature. There's going to be new ones born every day. So I mean, it's just like Reagan said, freedom's not free. It's something you got to fight for every generation, and we're going to have to fight to keep the system clean, or it's going to go right back where we're at.
Excuse me. That is the problem. We're dealing with human nature. Corruption is part of the human nature if you choose to do it. You have the choice of right and wrong things. If you choose to do wrong, you're going to be corrupt, and you're going to do corruptive acts. And you can't stop it, but you can discipline it. You can correct it. You can adjudicate it. And that's my form.
This is a question that I do not think this is going to be a question for Bob Locke, who is both a retired attorney and a common law attorney and specialist. But the question is from Mary. Mr. C, will a disabled special needs trust make it to the new system? ? The law over 65 now, as of 2016, requires irrevocable, pooled, etc.
Frankly, I don't know the difference, so I'm not really going to speculate.
Mary, that is definitely one I would ask Bob Locke. You can consider emailing him at debtlawyer@gmail.com. Debtlawyer@gmail.com. I see a couple repeat questions, which means they asked before we covered them the first time. Peter J. Ram, overcome evil with good. Amen, brother. That's what we've got to do. And I've got to remind myself all the time. Be grateful,
That's
be thankful, be diligent, and overcome hate with love.
excuse me. That is one of the reasons why they hated Kirk so much, because that's exactly what he was preaching.
Realize wants to know your thoughts on Anna Von Wright. She says something wonderful happened on November 17th. Don't know if you've done any research, dug into it, heard.
Not since Interpol sat her down and said, "Shut up" when it comes to me. So no, I don't have any thoughts about that.
Yeah. A lot of people, hey, Mr. C, can we pre-order your book? And I just think that's premature. He just isn't that far along yet.
No. I won't accept that money. That's, to me, that's fraudulent. I won't do that.
Here's one that Mr. C, do you think we need to do an act like Iceland did in 2008 and pull a revolt? They arrested their president, corrupt bankers, lawyers, judges, politicians, reset the currency, and rewrote their constitution. And for me, that's exactly what NESARA is. Your thoughts?
That's exactly what the RV is going to do. We can't do it beforehand because it's not as, what shall I say, massive as it should be under the Gold Treaty. And for example, I'll take this for example. You've got a situation in the UK right now where the rats are in control. They're fighting the king big time. You've got a situation in Europe where the rats are in control of governments. If we did it to the US, we would be inundated with the rats from Europe. It's got to be worldwide.
See, somebody asked again, the Biozox is biozox.com/MarkZ. Make certain you get your 25% off. I've had like 3 people asking this morning. Nicole was the last one. Just a little housekeeping to get that done.
Okay.
See, with NESARA, Frank saying, Frank Airborne, with NESARA, people will have more money, so that's got to cut down on some crime, etc. Yeah, that makes sense. Although some will always be greedy and want more, but overall, less greedy wrongins. Makes sense. Looking for more good questions. Oh, crap. Mr. C, what happened to our time?
It goes quickly.
Yeah.
Next is asking about Mr. T, if this goes while he's in office. Under the NESARA and the protocols of the Gold Treaty, the president must step down because he's still part of the corporation and stand for election. And that's part of NESARA law. And by the way, that law is real.
Yeah, we've shared that link so many times. It's in the Voice of Freedom Telegram. It's in Kukla's Corner, whatever they call that Telegram. Been posted so many times. We've shared the link on here so many times. We used to be able to share the congressional link for it until the Biden administration, and it mysteriously disappeared.
Right. I'd like to answer that question because about my brother.
Okay.
It's very interesting to me. He had the operation on a Monday. He was out of the hospital by Thursday. I'm sorry, by Sunday. By the following Thursday, he was off medications, pain medications, which is astounding to me. I just can't believe it. But then again, and he had quadruple bypass, so that's amazing. But when I had mine, I had a heart attack and then quad bypass. So I was bouncing off walls for months because of the medication. But he's doing phenomenally well. And more power to him. Thank God.
I think this is an interesting one to wrap with.
Okay.
Not yours. Mr. C, why is the Gold Treaty not available to read?
As all treaties, unless you are a member, a signatory to it, you're not able to see it until after it's
Enacted.
Correct. In this situation, that was written in 21 March 2013. So, and this is 2025,
Yeah.
and it's still not been enacted. So you're not going to see it, not until it's in place. And at that point, you may or may not be able to see it. If you go back in history, a lot of treaties are still not visible to the public.
Some of it because of who they name and some of the agreements in it.
That's right.
But my goodness, if you could get a hold of that thing, truly get a hold of it ahead, think about how you could position yourself financially. You could be like 20 years from now, you could be the next Rothschilds. You could own the world if you could see that ahead of time because you know where
You
to
know, that,
position everything. And that is why you can't see it.
that's what's funny to me. As I'm talking, for example, my tennis instructor, as we have our weekly tennis discussions over this, because he's now looking at it the same way I am. I wish it happened today. And he said, well, gee, based on what you're telling me, maybe I should go out and buy a car and have it done away with after the RV. And I said, well, that's true. But the problem is that's sort of like rigging the system. I would not condone that.
No, it's also like catching a falling knife. I mean, if I would have done that in 2012, when I was convinced and they had to turn Frenchie around on the tarmac in Montreal, I stop and I think about, how close. I mean, I would have absolutely screwed myself and did enough.
Many people have.
Absolutely. Mr. C, I can't thank you enough for your time. I don't
That's great. That's fine. I enjoy this. And it's a nice way to relieve my tensions to get on the soapbox and explain my theory of life and the corruption that I've seen. I appreciate the time and the opportunity. And I hope, like heck, this does happen immediately. It would be great. It would be a great relief. But I will continue on. And again, the Statan team, you have to survive in order to win. So thank you very much. And we'll see you next week, if not sooner.
Mr. C, it's always a pleasure. And thank you for all the thoughts, updates, and information.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye. The illustrious, notorious, both famous and infamous Mr. C, depending on which side of history you are going to be on. I would like to think from our side, it's going to be famous instead of infamous. Sorry, guys, moving everything out of the way, so I'll be ready to, I'm going to attempt today. Just have to apologize for Amy, for all those cool people I haven't been able to do a birthday song for. I think I'm recovered enough for this one. So wish me luck. Mark 7 Deep, Texas Rose, Ryan, KKB, Steve, Andrea, Scott. If I've missed anybody, sound off, even if I don't see it, so that your friends can wish you the absolute best on your born on date. So they tell me it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday, darling. May you live, may you love, may all your dreams come true. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. To all those celebrating. That went better than I thought it was going to. Happy, somebody else triumphant, my child's. Saw somebody squeeze Scott in at the end. Saw Hoops. Happy birthday to you. Oh boy, I tell you, Hoops has been a big part of our community since before we ever made it to YouTube. So good to have you, Hoops. Happy birthday. And now, absolutely trouncing Big Matt is Lucas.
First. Oh, I don't think he's going to be on for a while.
You think he's not?
Oh, they were kind of going chaotic today. Putting together some of the specials, and so I bet he'll be on in probably 10 minutes or so.
That's okay. We can always do it without him. I mean, if
I'm just saying, but I kind of want the specials. I'm not gonna lie. And he doesn't tell. Typically, he I know people think it's crazy, but I actually 99.9% of the time have no idea what the specials are that him and Scott create.
Yeah,
why would I know?
It's like surprise.
Yeah. Well, I get it. He doesn't want to, they keep it to themselves and then tell me. So, which is bad because so he says if he does the mushroom and he does the Matrix mushroom gummy, he's like, oh, we're giving these away. I'm like, Matt, you gotta let me know, man, because I'm making this stuff. So if I'm the one making this stuff, you got to let me know what you're going to do. But no, he likes that little curveball, which, hey, a little spice of life is good every once in a while.
It is. At the same time, that would be like wanting your spouse to be a back crap crazy and bipolar, male or female, guys. I'm not beating on any one gender here. To me, I would like some things a little more consistent. I don't mind a surprise.
A little stability every once in a while.
A little
Like
stability.
my idea of crazy in the marriage is maybe her surprising and bringing home a pet rabbit, or another breed of chickens. Like, oh man, you just you went off the deep end. Like, I can't believe you're bringing these new
Oh, you
cochin
just brought home some
chickens.
silkies to
I
throw in
know,
the
I
chicken.
know. I mean, that kind of spice of life, I'm definitely on board with.
I thought you were going to say, some Fredericks of Hollywood lingerie for anniversary night or something, and you went with a cool new pet bunny.
Yeah, I'm a little bit different than most, I suppose.
I still love you, brother. I do. Lucas has a cougar. Yes, yes.
You're absolutely correct.
Happy birthday, Kathy. Let me take over for just a second and kind of be Matt, and do whatever you want to take and see if we get a Matt popping in.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Folks, if you want to find the CBD Gurus, aka Matt, Lucas, and my ever faithful Kevin, super guy, and the crew, go to thecbdgurus.com. It'll take you to the website. You may have to hit yes, I'm 21, blah blah blah, a couple of those things. Just protecting themselves in today's litigious world. Look for the buttons on top. Look for the wholesale, MarkZ wholesale. Click it. Wow, we got to put in a passcode. This one's difficult. KRAMCBD. You can look at the little eyeball. You can see what I punched in. KRAMCBD. That's just marked backwards with CBD on it. Matt came up with it on the fly while sitting on the side of the road on our first podcast together.
Gosh, that's been some years ago.
Been some years ago.
Yes.
Matter of fact, CBD Gurus back then ran out of the spare bedroom in Matt's apartment. They've definitely come a long way, which is awesome to see. I love the American dream. All right, now we're in the wholesale page. They've got all kinds of buttons up here. If it's not in specials, you can find what you need. There's even a button for the humanitarian resort project that Matt's been working on. He puts aside a little bit of currency for every order that he fills for the community guys to go towards like an RV park that we can all use at an extreme discount post RV. I love it. And your specials today, do we save this for Matt when he pops in, or just tell people to check them out?
I don't know. I think
Or you want surprises? Oh, wait a minute. Let's look up here. He may not have them up.
He
Let's
may
see. With any
not.
order, next placing. Yeah. So we're still waiting for the specials to be posted. So basically, I think everybody's going to have to keep checking to see when it updates.
Yeah.
Grandma Evie to the rescue. If you have questions, placing an order, text Wendy or Amy, same number, depends on who's in charge at the time. They just forward it all to them. 612-412-8343. They are both very knowledgeable. What do you want to talk about now that we don't have Matt or the specials?
Man, I just it's been a tad chaotic. With everything going on, with all the and kind of no new provisions kind of coming through the country, and then reformulating. Actually been working with a lot more higher dose mushroom products lately, Mark. I know it sounds like kind of went some different directions, and then back to the mushroom thing. Thinking about maybe potentially doing a substantially higher dose in the coffee. So that's what I'm playing around with lately. Is I've been drinking a lot of coffee because
You've
I'll
been having to skip a lot of sleep.
that's right. Well, it's because we're trying. So the thing is, though, I want to be able to get as much mushroom in there as I possibly can without affecting the taste of the coffee. So it's like, you do it in stages, and you do, like, say I've done like 30 stages up to this point with several different ratios of the mushroom getting up, and I finally hit the point where I'm like, ooh, I can definitely taste the mushroom. So I'm going to start scaling back, probably at a 5 to 10% ratio to get to where it is. Because I mean, that's the thing. I want to be able to get as much mushroom for people in their coffee as I
Still be
possibly can
enjoyable.
and still be enjoyable, because like all these other ones that, yes, they're super beneficial, all these other ones like mud water and all this, it's like, guys, I drank that stuff and I literally spit it out. So did my wife. I'm like, I understand this is supposed to be super good for you, but I can't drink this. Like, I want to enjoy my morning routine. I do not want to be like just gagging down this drink to get my mushrooms.
No, I'm with you, and
So,
that's why I don't do seaweed and spinach smoothies for breakfast.
oh gosh, well, that seaweed. We're oh, talking about that. We did this. Well, seaweed's really good for omega threes, right? So getting your omega threes is huge, and so we were going to do it in a gummy. So I got this seaweed oil, or it's like an extraction oil from the seaweed, and guys, it literally stunk up. We just opened the 5 gallon bucket to do test with, and like we had two of our workers was dry heaving outside. It took like a week to get that smell out. Oh, Mark, it was the I was like, there is no way that I'm gonna run that through our machines to make a gummy out of this, even for experiment. Like, not a chance. I was
uh,
like, what in the like, how do people even put this down?
yeah, it reminds me of that absolutely horrendous rap song. I want to say from the '90s, where the blind man's going through the fish market and goes, "Hey, ladies." It's I just yeah, I got a messed up sense of humor. Bill and Linda, what should you use for pre-cancer? I know for me, depending on if you don't know what kind of cancer, turkey tail there's so many peer-reviewed scientific studies showing its in tremendous support for anti-cancer, for
And the reishi.
helping, and reishi seems to target specific types. Turkey tail seems to be like the shotgun approach.
Yeah.
Reishi shows some really positive stuff for, I'm trying to remember, there was one women's version, I don't remember if it was breast or whatever, but specifically like prostate cancer for men. It showed like just really cool stuff.
Yeah, yeah, the medical studies that they did with that, and what's cool is, uh, a lot of those are used in conjunction with treatment because they really help the efficacy as well, is what the medical study showed.
Um, we're gonna do one more quick one, and then we got Matt to walk us through the specials, because the specials are now up. So we'll welcome Matt. I did a poor
Hey,
imitation of Matt
good
earlier.
morning. You
Good
did an
morning, Matt.
imitation?
I did a poor imitation. I was telling people how to get in, so I informed them how to get in sight.
Okay.
When we didn't have you, but then the specials weren't ready because you and Scotty were still hard at it, but now they're up. One
Yeah.
quick one for Lucas before I let this one go, though. Lucas, how did the meeting go with the THC folks? You had a group or somebody headed to Chicago, I think, to have a sit down. Any update?
Yeah, it was good. There was a few legislators there that were kind of planning out how kind of the next steps as to what's going to happen on the kind of fighting it front, and seeing where that. But I mean, you know how it is. Like, this stuff's going to take probably 6 to 8 months to play out for even combating it. So there's definitely a large scale attack on this to try to resolve the ban before it happens. So we'll kind of see how it all, kind of unfolds. Especially, I would say we're going to have a real good idea here in the next 3 to 6 months, to see if it's going to kind of take hold. But yeah, no, I think there's a lot of great people that are, kind of pushing this forward. But again, it's the Democrats that are, truly, I feel like, the biggest problem.
Yeah, it's so many of these, especially the legal states or left states, guys, they look at CBD as cutting into their profit margin. It's cutting into their revenues for the state and for their government. So they absolutely want this gone, just like the pharmaceuticals. I mean, a lot of the bigger medical companies, medical marijuana sites, etc., from these controlled or state controlled states or legal states, have large percentage of ownership from the pharmaceutical company. So they do not want competition. That's the ugly truth of this thing. They're not trying to
Sadly.
make a decision based on right and wrong. It is totally how they can put the most money in their pockets.
You betcha.
Um, I don't know this one. I would do a web search, doc, to Beagle, or ask your doctor. Lucas, can someone use CBD while taking prescriptions for a hypothyroidism?
You really need to, and like, I don't know which medicine it is. You really need to kind of get with your doctor, because there are certain prescriptions where CBD, the cannabinoids in general, do affect the efficacy of the medicine. So definitely, if you're on medicine, make sure you work with your doctor to make sure it's not going to interact, and that it'll be good to take together.
And a simple web search may answer all your questions on that. But if you have any lingering doubts, hopefully you have an open-minded, thoughtful, knowledgeable doctor you can just ask.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Hey, Matt. One, it's good to see
Good
you.
morning, Mark. How you doing?
Well, I guess I really aren't not seeing you, but it's good to have you on here. You want to walk us through
Hey.
getting in and tell us about the specials?
Yeah, you bet, for sure. Yeah, me and Scotty had to get those done. Let's see, we got, to get into the site, you guys, you go to thecbdgurus.com, THECBDGURUS.com. Then when you get there, you go to the wholesale on top. It's the third word over. Hit that. And then you'll see MarkZ's name on there, you guys. And then just hit that, and then you'll when you get in there, you give, if a box comes up, and if you've already been there, it probably won't come up, but if a box comes up and you have to put a code word in and you know, lowercase KRAMCBD, and then you're all set, okay? And then when you get in there, you automatically be in the weekly specials. If you don't see something in the weekly specials, just go to one of the boxes on top, the blue box or bluish purple box or whatever color that is, and hit that. You know, it goes from gummies all the way down to coffee, and you can find it in there. And then we start at
if you're looking for the official name, Matt, we decided it's Blurple.
Blurple, that's right.
Blurple.
Purple, and yeah, for sure. And yeah, that's what you hit, one of those boxes. But anyways, we started the special this morning, 9:30 a.m. Central. I'll have to have Scotty put Central on there, November 21st today. At $50, you get 10 million Boulevard after not including shipping and discounts. At 100, you get 20. At 150, you get 30. And 30 million Boulevard. Any order with currency, we take a picture of. If you need any help with order or anything somehow, you can't put in yourself, dial 612-412-8343. Don't dial, you just hit the phone. I guess there's no dialing anymore. That's how you can tell somebody's old. They say that. And Wendy will be there to help you. If she can't help you, Amy will help you out. And then let's see if the specials, I don't know. Is there anything else to say about that? No. Okay. So we got the specials. We got a lot of, you buy 4, you get 1 free. So you buy 4 for the price of 3. We've got sleep gummies, regular gummies, the coffee, the 4-ounce coffee. We've got the concentrates. I had somebody say, well, if the price was a little bit lower, that's what really got me on the 4 for 3. I'd buy more of the concentrates. Well, I don't know if you can get them any cheaper, but right now you get 4 for $27. So there you go. We also got the Delta 8 on there. If you're a Delta 8 connoisseur, which we got a ton of them, 4 for the price of $387. We got the shots.
Ooh, do like them?
Yeah, 4 for 10. And we got the drinks. This is the cheapest price we ever had. But the reason I'm doing that is if you need the drinks, order them now, and so we can get them out to you.
Yeah, my guess is what,
$15.
1, maybe 2 more weeks, and you won't ship anymore till spring.
Yeah, it'll probably get too cold. We're just keeping, for sure, Mark. We're just keeping an eye on it. I'm sure we'll get a big cold front coming through here within about 10 days, so we'll have to discontinue that because the cans will blow. The other stuff we'll probably be able to ship maybe all winter. It's hard to say. We got to do some testing on the plastic things, but they're a little bit different. Then we got the mushroom gummies. There's 4 of those, the 4 mushroom gummies. That's a total of 240 gummies for $110 there. Mushroom gummies are dynamite. We got the mushroom capsules, 4 for 3. We got the turkey tail lion's mane. We got the roll-on, 4 for the price of 3. We got the 20 count gummies, 4 for the price of 3, 10 milligram gummies. That's a hell of a deal, as I know there's a lot of people out there like those 10 milligram gummies. And then from there, after the show, we'll put in a few more specials there. I thought I'd roll with what we had, but anything we got in there, you can order right now. And we got everything else in there. So, yeah, that's all the specials, you guys. And you got the currency and the 4-for-3 deals. And like I said, after the show, we'll add some more. And you go to thecbdgurus.com, go to wholesale MarkZ, put in lowercase KRAMCBD, and you're ready to order. And that's it for the specials, you guys.
Pretty solid specials. Now, for tomorrow, do we get to hear about whatever Thanksgiving plans you guys have?
Yeah, sure.
And why don't we have a pumpkin spice gummy? That is totally a joke. Please never make that.
You know what? I put some pumpkin spice in my coffee this morning. So, but yeah, it was, yeah, I put a bunch of stuff in that coffee. I think the only thing I didn't put in there was a little whiskey. That's the only thing. Everything else put in the coffee.
A little Irish coffee, a little Millionaire's coffee. Boy, I haven't done that in years.
You know, I was getting
years.
coffee, the Irish coffee every day for about a month, about 3 years ago. And a guy was making it for me. And then I didn't even know it, but he was putting in a shot of booze every morning in there. And it didn't bother me in the least. I think it made me a little bit more relaxed. So anyway, but then I discontinued it. So for whatever reason. All right, that's the specials, you guys. We on for the morning, Mark?
Unless you're trying to avoid me.
No. I'm just, I'm ready.
And Peach Builder, can you take too much turkey tail capsules 6 a day for stage 4? I've read a number of studies on it, and I've seen them taking anywhere up to nearly 10,000 milligrams a day, which that would be like 20 capsules a day of theirs. Ask your doctor, but there are some very, very good studies on turkey tail and cancer from universities, etc. I would definitely peer-reviewed stuff. I would do a quick search on that one and definitely think of asking your doctor. What do you think, Lucas? Did I do well on that one? But I've got people that take 10 a day that are worried about cancer. They're taking 10 a day, and they swear by the difference it's made. Their markers coming down. Some of them are in chemo and radiation, and they're getting little or no side effects because of it, or they believe it's because of the turkey tail. And after you have so many
Mark,
people tell you
that's
you start
actually what they
believing it.
saw in some of the case studies we went over. Is that the high dosages during chemo? The two things that they noted was that the heightened efficacy of the chemo, so it actually helped the immune response, as well as the lack of the negatives, the side effects of having it. So like there's a lot, and this isn't just like people saying like, oh, I think it was this. I mean, it's actually like been researched medically, mostly in Japan, where a lot of the facilities and a lot of the oncologists do the turkey tail in correlation with it because of those two things.
I've talked to a number of oncologists that have been like, we suggest to our cancer patients that are undergoing active treatment to start up to a week to 2 weeks before the treatment on higher doses. So it minimizes the effect and it builds our immune system going in. I mean, to me, it's awesome to see so many doctors going, wait a minute, here's the studies, here's the science. Let's do these natural things in conjunction.
No, I agree. I
It's
think
awesome.
it is cool to see. And I think as we progress further down this hole, I think that we're going to find that a lot of, or a good majority of the oncologists are going to start going toward the natural path along with regular medicine. I think that maybe there is in some world, especially with that, like let's get rid of it. And if the natural path is needed to work in correlation with it, then let's do it.
All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about today before we call it a wrap and meet tomorrow morning? I know Matt's trying to get out of it because he wants to go to the turkey shoot down at the VFW. But
no.
You remember when those happened? I miss those things.
Hey, I already shot my turkey for Thanksgiving.
You know what? I'll have a report on this weekend, the next week, but I'm gonna leave it a mystery because it's gonna be a panic. So, but I'll be here tomorrow, Mark. Yeah, Maybe I'll have some guys yelling in the background, but we'll see.
That would be even
Something
better.
Yeah, no, for sure tomorrow. Yeah, just kind of a hectic morning here. So, anyways, everything's good. Good deal. We got some good specials. I'm going to be putting more in the next 20 minutes. So if you want to, don't say you didn't see them all. 20 minutes after the show's over, I'll have some more in there. But we got some great ones in there right now. So, how's that sound?
Sounds
wanna
great.
tell
I'm
them how to
sorry.
get in there, Lucas?
Flying squirrel put in. Where's the WKRP turkey drop being held?
The turkey. Yeah, there you go.
And I had to laugh. Lucas is too young to know what that is, other than when we've told him every Thanksgiving here on the podcast.
No,
And I still don't know.
All right. Do you know the television show WKRP Cincinnati?
No.
About the radio station. It had Lonnie Anderson and some funny. It had I forget the name of the black gentleman that played Venus Flytrap. Had Johnny Fever. I mean, just some of the greatest personalities on that sitcom.
I know
And
Johnny
Les
Fever.
Nesman, the very clueless weatherman, decided to do a turkey drop for Thanksgiving. He took up the company helicopter and dropped live turkeys out. And of course, it's raining turkeys, and he's like, "Honest to God, I thought they could fly." And meanwhile, like, please, here's the WKRP turkey drop. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody! He's throwing live turkeys out of a helicopter.
Just dead turkeys everywhere.
Oh yeah, they're just plummeting to the ground, screeching.
it was good.
Mass carnage of blood and feathers and bones.
Wasn't the manager on there? The guy who was in that Office movie. What was it called?
I forget his name. I forget a lot of the names on that one, but just
wasn't he the guy in the basement Office? What was it called? I forget. Anyways, the guy who burned the building down later.
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Oh my God, I'm bad at names, but I think that was him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for next week's Whiskey and Wisdom, we need to show that segment. I know it's going to be a copyright violation, but it's totally going to be worth it. It just means I'm going to not be able to. They rarely monetize me much anymore anyway, so it'll be worth it so everybody can watch that and see.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for having us on, Mark. We'll catch you tomorrow.
All right. Take care, folks. Lucas, I appreciate you. Matt, I appreciate everything you do.
You bet, guys. Have a good one, guys.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
For all the rest, I will see you tomorrow unless there is breaking news. Milton, thank you for that one. Yeah, I'm totally going to look up a clip real quickly and email it to Lucas so he can see that, because that is just epic. It's got to be watched. Again, it is probably good practice going into it. It has nothing to do with Thanksgiving, but I am thankful for every single one of you, even the trolls that keep me on my toes and sharp and makes me, forces me in a good way to reread, question, think, and dig deeper. I appreciate you all, mods especially too. See you guys mañana.